So what is JSX? JSX is something that I'll be showing to you in just a minute. Otherwise, इसके अलावा if there are no questions, then I'll quickly show you something. I'd request you guys to go to codesandbox.io. So now to get a hands-on of how React works, what you would ideally have to do is आपके local machines में you would have to open an IDE that is VS Code and try to create a React application. तो वो काफी मेहनत वाला काम है because it requires a lot of RAM. अभी 4 GB रैम वाले 4 सेकंड में खत्म हो जाने वाले लैपटॉप से हम वो चीज करेंगे तो इट विल टेक द एंटायर डे. सो इंस्टेड व्हाट यू कैन यूज इज दिस ऑनलाइन टूल called Code Sandbox, in which you can spawn your boilerplate React application. So if you go to codesandbox.io and you sign in, then you will be seeing a screen like this. I hope you are able to see the Code Sandbox screen. ठीक है, and here if you click new from a template, then you will get a list of options कि आप इनमें से क्या क्या कर सकते हो. And here you have to go and click on React, which means that it will spawn a boilerplate React application for you. So ये जो list of code आपको दिख रहा है on the left side, that is a boilerplate React application. It has a public directory which has an index.html file. It has a source directory, उसमें भी कुछ files है. ठीक है. This code that you see right now, someone had the question कि what exactly is JSX? ये जो लिखा आ रहा है dev class name equal to app hello code sandbox blah blah blah, that is JSX. It looks very similar to HTML, but it is not exactly HTML. It has a few minor differences. All right. So this is something that we'll be progressing in the next segment. All right, then we will quickly move on since we are done with the 15-second break. What we are going to do is something that is very unique. अगले हफ्ते Valentine's week है. And that means that rather than going through the path of a boilerplate old to-do list sort of application, what we would instead try to make is a Valentine's week or a Valentine's Day application using React. That is something that's gonna be very unique. इससे ज़्यादा motivation आपको नहीं मिलेगा कि जिनके गर्लफ्रेंड बॉयफ्रेंड है वो लोग अपने गर्लफ्रेंड बॉयफ्रेंड के लिए ये बना सकते हैं. जिनके नहीं है वो पहले गर्लफ्रेंड बॉयफ्रेंड बनाए और फिर उनके लिए ये एप्लीकेशन बनाए. So what we are going to do is some of the very core concepts of React are something that we'll be exploring by trying to build a boilerplate application using React. All right. So we'll move ahead now. So these are option 1 and option 2. Option 1 is something that you can refer to later. I'll also quickly cover it at the end of the session. For right now, we will go with the option 2 link that is mentioned here, that we will go to Code Sandbox. Code Sandbox has already created a boilerplate application. So this is a React application that is automatically running right now. Any change that we make here will be visible immediately on the left-hand side, on the right-hand side. If I write Career Ninja here, you can see that it automatically changes to Hello Career Ninja. Those of you who are trying to follow along, please do make sure that you do exactly as I say. If this seems to be too fast for you, do not worry. The link to the project, the training deck, and the references of how you can go about it is going to be shared with you at the end of the session. So you can even follow along later. So for right now, you can just pay attention to the screen. All right. So now what we're going to do is inside the src folder, we will create a folder that is known as components. So I'll click on new directory and create a folder that is known as components. A React component represents a particular section of the UI. I repeat, a React component represents a particular section of the UI, which means that either if you want to see this section right now, that comes from this part, that is app.js. Similarly, if you want to add another component here right on top or bottom, that is something that you can do. Inside components, I will create a file that is known as roseday.jsx. Like I told you, the syntax that is used in React is JSX. So we will be using the extension .jsx. Now rose day is a new component. So inside this, what we are going to be writing is export default function. This is I am creating a standalone React component. Rose day. What I did was I created a component that is known as roseday.jsx. Told that component that you have to return this bit of HTML looking code that is known as roseday. It is just a div with the only content as roseday. I cannot see it anywhere here so far. So let us go to app.js, which is the code that is showing up on the screen right now. Now I want to display roseday as a section of this UI. So what I'm going to do is I have to include the rows day component here. So rows day. You can see that I get the autocorrect as auto import from whatever. So that means that Code Sandbox has recognized that there is a component that is known as rows day, and that is something that can be imported from here. So I'll click this. So you can see that rows day has automatically been imported. And now if I close this bracket, then you see that the text rows day comes up on the screen. Now let's say if your girlfriend or boyfriend does not like roses, let's say she likes marigolds, then we'll just instead change this to marigold. And you can see, oops, not our marigold, marigold. Then you can see that the text here changes to marigold. So again, to iterate, what a component is that a component represents a section of the UI. Now you can use the same component umpteen times. So if there is one rose day here, I can also include another rose day after this text. And it will show us marigold, marigold in both of these places. All right. Okay. So that was about components.